Hi, everyone, and welcome to day 12 of the 21 Day Purpose Challenge. Go, 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 go. You're doing awesome. This is so important, this work you're doing. So now that you've got your shoulds kind of organized, you're starting to see your psychology emerge as this kind of whole blueprint, this map of who you are and what you care about and why you've become the way you are. There's still more work to do because now that we've kind of identified it, is it G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle or something. So we're identifying it. Now we're going to move to understanding. We're going to start to understand how it came to be. But first, I'd like to share with you kind of how my ego parts actually help me make decisions. And, it's not just my purpose statement. It's not just my vision board. It's not just my ritual and all my kind of purpose aligned, my men's circle and my relationship and all that kind of stuff. There's way more at play. So I begin to work with my ego parts. So I just want to share a story about how my image consultant and my risk manager helped me make a decision recently. So last year I was offered the CEO position of a very sexy startup. I mean, it was like this social network designed to upset the world's unequal power structures, like basically to kind of help reinvent our political economy. To like nurture the voices of purpose and justice and sustainability and peaceful revolution, and like it was basically like Occupy Wall Street meets Facebook. So this like NSA secure encrypted global kind of feature phone optimized. So it would be this thing that would work well in the southern hemisphere as well, folks who don't have smartphones. And so it was designed like from go to be this thing that was pretty well aligned with who I am, like creating a more equal, just, sustainable, peaceful world, and using the power of technology and our mediums to get it out. So I thought about it. I've been well into kind of doing purpose guiding, teaching, coaching, writing, all that kind of stuff. But this seemed to leverage a lot of my other skills. It leveraged my Silicon Valley experience, doing business development and fundraising and all that. Leadership, and it seemed like it was going to be a really challenging opportunity to like work with this great team, do a lot of good in the world, and make a lot of money. And so I thought about it. As I did my due diligence, I really kind of kicked the tires. Like, is this more purposeful? Does this fulfill on my mission more than what I'm doing now? And what I noticed was that money conversation came up because the life of any kind of entrepreneur, there's just so much instability, and it would be nice just to kind of jump off of the risk train for a second, just collect a paycheck. I mean, I haven't had a paycheck in, golly, I don't know, 3-4 years, and like the thought of like, that would be nice again, and not only just a paycheck, but like a CEO paycheck, like 15 grand a month paycheck. And then, obviously if the company went south, there'd be some sort of golden parachute. And so there was a lot of me that was saying like, yes, do this, Brandon. This is your ticket, man. Like you're gonna crush it with this thing. So luckily I had this kind of framework, my ego blueprints. I could kind of check in with each part. I mean, my purpose was like, I could totally make this work. Like I could make it work. It would be within the realm of making the world a more just, sustainable, and peaceful world, having purposeful feature sets, so allowing people to self-express about their purpose, in their feed. But what I realized was really calling me was my risk manager and my image consultant. My image consultant was like, oh boy, yes, CEO, sexy Silicon Valley, neo-Marxist, power to the people startup, like, oh man, this is exactly what I want to be known as. It was like I could just feel it. I was like, oh yeah, kind of give me the fame and the glory and the controversy, and like I could, I'd have a platform to like call out our leaders. I was going nuts, right? I think I could really get into this. And my risk manager was like, 15 grand a month, do it. Like, just stop it. Just get some benefits and take your 15 grand a month and just do it. But so I listened to them, and I registered their complaint, their not their complaints, their their wisdom, because there's actually some wisdom in that. Like, I like to feel good. I like to get attaboys and have people pat me on the back and say, hey, you're a good guy, you're a CEO and all that kind of stuff. And I definitely like to eat food and like have my rent paid. So it's like, these are very valid voices. But once I weighed all those voices and what my soul was saying, my soul is about purpose transformation, like performing this software upgrade, getting this out to the most number of people. And yeah, that would have been part of my job. But I would have, as a CEO, I would have been spending 80 hours a week fundraising, pleasing investors, worrying about business models, profit margins, all the stuff I've done and not really enjoyed during my career in Silicon Valley. So at the end of the day, I said no, and it was hard. I was like, oof. Okay, so long, lots of money and fame and glory. Let's just keep doing what we're doing, because this is what soul wants. This is what my purpose is. So you'll get that facility too. You'll have your ego blueprint and be able to distinguish the voice of soul versus looking good and making money and being good enough and being untrustworthy and all this kind of stuff. So I'd like to share with you another quote by one of my other favorite philosophers, often called like the primary philosopher. It's been said that all of the field of philosophy is but a footnote to Plato. And so this is a quote from Plato / Socrates, because they're kind of mentors or comrades. So Plato says, "For one to conquer oneself is the first and noblest of all victories." So much in the way that Marcus Aurelius was talking about living in harmony with yourself. There's actually some conquering going on, because they are different, these different voices. You've got to like see it, meet it face to face and say, okay, yes, I hear you, and we're going to choose something differently. And so once we get to understand these voices as you're doing right now, understand their origin story, to love them, integrate them, and align them, literally anything is possible. You can do anything. Like, this is the biggest victory. This is bigger than climbing Everest. This is bigger than having $1 billion exit. This is bigger than winning the presidency or being head of the UN. Bigger than that. This is what is required to do any of those things authentically. Because once you have self-love and once you have the integration of knowing all these different parts of yourself, there's going to be nothing that's going to stop you. Everything is possible in conversation. You will be able to ask for anything you want. Not to say you're going to get it, but you're going to be able to ask fearlessly. If you ask enough times, you're going to get a lot of stuff. So this is essentially the precursor to living your purpose in the world. This is what makes it possible, because all the obstacles become now allies. You can integrate them. And that's why purpose work is in so many ways spiritual work. It's that descendant path. It's putting to rest, and gradually over time, all the internal conflicts of, oh, should I look good? Should I make money? Should I be true to my soul? Should I, all the shoulds. It's putting to rest all of that and just allowing you to be present, whole, grateful, just giving yourself in service, living your purpose as the creative, loving, emergent being that you are. So keep going with this. This is the juicy stuff. This is the hardest part of the climb. It's the hardest because it's the most worthwhile. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.